5 things you probably didn't know about South Dakota. In our tour of the United States, we have seen produce from all over. We have learned a little bit about how each state started, and we even saw how both natural and man-made attractions drew people in who are interested in things like that. But what about one of the states that doesn't seem to have any of those things? Why is it that so many seem to ignore states like this when they could be a load of interesting facts about them that nobody seems to pay any attention to? What could indeed be very special about South Dakota and other states that nobody bothers to listen to? I'll be presenting this state in the same as previous, so open your mind, sit back, relax, and let's get started. First entering the Union with the Louisiana Purchase, the Dakota Territories were first known for the trees and the furs that came from the wildlife around the area. The people who were most influential in the territories began to make petitions that it should enter into statehood, and on November 2nd, 1889, in one of the first times a presidential election was decided by the electoral votes instead of the popular votes, both South Dakota and her cousin to the north were admitted into the United States as actual states, with the center of it all around Fort Pierre, which is, and any wonder it became the capital of the state. Of course, we can't talk about South Dakota without mentioning one of the most harebrained, biased, and otherwise idiotic people ever to put on the uniform of a U.S. soldier, General George Armstrong Custer. His crusade to get more land from the Native Americans who were struggling to make it by ended in a real turn of events when the area called Little Bighorn, which he thought it would be relatively scattered, turned out to be filled from one end to the other with natives. I think we know why the nature of this battle is often called Custer's Last Stand. You probably heard of the Badlands of South Dakota. A bit of an oxymoron. The area is the home to many animals, including bison, bighorn sheep, and, of course, the prairie dog. This 244,000-acre area holds these and other wildlife, including 6 types of frogs and toads, over 200 species of bird, including many predators, 36 other mammals besides the 3 mentioned, 177 butterflies, and numerous snakes and lizards. The park has several natural scene hiking trails and naturally beautiful land formations that can be found anywhere else. Perhaps the reason it's called the Badlands is due to the extreme temperature and the park experiences and the landscape and parts of it. Temperatures from minus 30 degrees to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This, the Black Hills, and many other natural phenomena means that South Dakota isn't quite as dull as previously mentioned. When it comes to produce, this one is always a favorite of mine, even though many actually do hate them. Given that many may not be aware of the variety of tomato products, this will give you a chance to catch up. And you might not be aware of the history of this particular aroma. And there's more to it than just a singular cherry red. There are varieties that are yellow, black, and even blue, with names that keep things varied. The one that might work well in groups of 2 is actually called the pear tomato, a smallish yellow variety that is actually pear-shaped. And how many products can be made with this particular produce? Many Italian-style dishes are extra saucy when it comes to this particular fruit and vegetable. For the record, it is a fruit because it holds seeds for future tomatoes to be grown, but it is not given too much of what makes fruit sweet. So, because it has a lot of natural vitamins, it counts as a vegetable. And for the ones that know, it's also something that can really help you see. Be honest, did you really expect anything else from South Dakota? This memorial, considered to be some of the more respectable precedents up to the sculpting of the mountain that began in 1927. The project keeps things going for a while. The giant faces of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and local favorite Teddy Roosevelt being close to 50 feet tall for each. The time it took and the equipment kept the project going for 14 years, and with the 2 who did the majority of the sculpture, Goodson and Lincoln Borgium, or more specifically under their direction, the original idea being conceived by Duane Robinson, and I probably mispronounced that. Looking for a way to increase South Dakota tourism, Mr. Robinson originally thought it should been carved into the structure of the state called the Needles. Of course, with a name like that, it's no wonder they changed it to something far more solid, like the mountain called Bible Lakota, the Six Grandfathers, or the mountain named for a lawyer by the name of, you guessed it, Rushmore. So, who is it I decided should round out this little bit of info about a state some really don't think about that much? Which person did I think made a big enough impact on the pages of history that came from South Dakota? Who made it to the ranks of those that stepped into the fabric of our culture, and who goes down in fame? Yes, the famous personality best known for a game show that has gone down in history is Mr. Bob Barker. I'll tell you a bit more if the price is right. Sorry, couldn't resist. Born in 1923, which makes him 93 at the time of this video, Bob is actually listed as a member of the Sioux tribe of Native Americans. He first started his career on radio, first in South Dakota, then moved to Burbank, California. And it was here, in a 6-year-long show, when a certain individual thought he liked the voice and the style and offered him a job in a game show he was trying to get started. And believe it or not, it wasn't the show that put the name of Bob Barker into our memories. He was a host of Truth or Consequences, That's My Line, Anna Ringo, The Family Game, and a little bit of Simon Says. But the one he's best known for is, naturally, The Price is Right. His influence is very clear in scenes and movies, and not just the epic beatdown of Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore, but also a particular surgical procedure for pets to, quote, help control the pet population. And here I'm talking about the line in Shrek 2 when Donkey threatens Puss in Boots by saying they should give him the, quote, Bob Barker treatment, close quote. It's quite clear what's meant. He also hosted for a time the Miss America pageant, and many times his sense of humor came out on the show. There was one time he'd asked one particular contestant on The Price is Right, who had been on contestant row for pretty much the whole show, what his job was. His response was epically funny, so Bob asked the audience if they would laugh if they did it again when it was on air. So when they came back, Bob asked him what he did. He gave the answer as before, but Bob stole his thunder. The audience laughed on cue before Bob admitted it and asked for his forgiveness. So South Dakota is so much more than just the home of a particular mountain. It's clear the state has a lot to offer, and I would encourage you to research this state more fully. Then, if you can, come on down. So that's it. As usual, I would ask you to like this video, give a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really does help when that happens, and it is something that works out best for everyone. I will read the comments for this and all the videos. I usually put out new videos every Wednesday or Thursday, and subscribing will help you keep up to date with my projects. And check out the links in the description. I have the links to the places I get the music and the titles, as well as the books I've written. I will do a Q&A live chat at 100 subscribers, another for each 100 up to 1,000, and when that's reached, I'll start doing 2 a week. And of course, I'll see you next time. Every state does have a story to tell.